Here is what no one tells you about Pope Francis, the man who redefined what it means to lead the Catholic Church, shook centuries of tradition, and became a global icon, all while living in a small Vatican guest house. Hello and welcome. Today we're diving into the remarkable life of Pope Francis, a humble man from Argentina who became the spiritual leader of over 1 billion people. But his journey wasn't smooth, and his rise to the papacy was filled with surprising turns, deep convictions, and quiet rebellions. Whether you're religious or not, this story will inspire you. Let's go back to where it all began. Pope Francis was born Jorge Mario Bergoglio on December 17, 1936, in Buenos Aires, Argentina. He was the eldest of 5 children raised by Italian immigrant parents. From a young age, Jorge was deeply spiritual. But what really set him apart was his deep empathy for the poor and marginalized. What many don't know is that he once dreamed of becoming a chemist and even worked as a nightclub bouncer to help support himself. His path to priesthood wasn't obvious, but it was powerful. A serious illness in his early 20s led him to reflect deeply about his purpose in life. He entered the Society of Jesus, becoming a Jesuit priest in 1969. As a Jesuit, Father Bergoglio lived simply, often refusing the comforts many clergy accepted. While leading the Jesuits in Argentina during the Dirty War, a time of political violence and dictatorship, he found himself caught between faith and fear. There are still debates about his actions during that time. Some say he didn't do enough to protect his fellow priests. Others argue he worked quietly and courageously behind the scenes. Regardless, it marked him deeply and would shape his later leadership style. Humble, cautious, but never silent. He later became Archbishop of Buenos Aires in 1998. There, he truly became the people's bishop. He chose not to live in the luxurious bishop's palace. Instead, he took a small apartment, cooked his own meals, and rode public transport. That's the man the world would soon come to know as Pope Francis. March 13, 2013, a date that changed the Catholic Church forever. Cardinal Bergoglio, then 76 years old, was elected as the 266th Pope of the Roman Catholic Church. He was the first Pope from the Americas, the first Jesuit Pope, and the first non-European Pope in over 200 years. And the very first thing he did shocked everyone. He didn't wear the elaborate red cape and gold stole. He simply appeared in a white cassock and asked the crowd in St. Peter's Square to pray for him. He took the name Francis after St. Francis of Assisi, the saint known for humility and love for the poor. That name alone said everything about his mission. From the start, Pope Francis did things differently. He refused to move into the opulent papal apartments, instead choosing to live in a modest guest house within the Vatican. He carried his own briefcase. He kissed the feet of prisoners, washed the feet of Muslim immigrants, and spoke directly about climate change, income inequality, and the refugee crisis. He criticized consumerism, corruption, and the abuse of power, even within the church. In his own words, a little bit of mercy makes the world less cold and more just. He pushed for a church that was more merciful than judgmental, more listening than preaching. Pope Francis didn't shy away from tough topics. He spoke about homosexuality, urging the church to show compassion. "Who am I to judge?" he famously said. That sentence sparked headlines and conversations around the world. He spoke out against clerical abuse and took steps to hold those responsible accountable, though critics say more could have been done. Still, his commitment to transparency was a turning point. He called on world leaders to protect the environment, publishing the encyclical Laudato Si', a powerful document on ecological justice. To some, he was too progressive. To others, he didn't go far enough. But no one could deny he was changing the church. Behind the global influence, Pope Francis remained relatable. He joked often. He once told a young boy whose dog died that yes, dogs can go to heaven. He told priests to be like shepherds, smelling like the sheep. He loved tango music, drank yerba mate, and always asked people to pray for him. And yes, he had critics, but even many who disagreed with his views admired his courage and honesty. Pope Francis became more than a religious figure. He became a symbol of hope, humility, and human connection. He reminded the world that leadership doesn't require a throne, but rather a servant's heart. Though he's now passed away, his impact lives on, not just in church policies or public speeches, but in the way he made millions rethink what it means to lead, to love, and to live with purpose. So what about you? Have you ever felt called to take the harder path, the quieter stand, or speak up for someone unheard? What part of Pope Francis' story moved you the most? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you found this story powerful and want to explore more journeys like this, subscribe to the channel. Every week, we bring you stories that connect ancient wisdom and modern life. Thanks for watching. See you next time.